A lot of Bulls fans have been asking, when are the Chicago Bulls going to make their first move in free agency? We now know that as the Bulls have signed free agent center Jalen Smith, a favorite target by a lot of Bulls fans. We're going to talk about all and more right after this.
Tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
I see red, I see red, I see red, I see red, yeah, I see red, I see red, I see red.
What's going on, Bulls fans? The Chicago Bulls have finally made a strike in free agency, signing center Jalen Smith to a 3-year, $27 million deal in free agency. This is basically a lot for the Chicago Bulls. Basically, their full mid-level exceptions is what it basically boils down to. This is, basically the Bulls' biggest chance of signing was he signs to a portion of the mid-level exception. So it works out to a little over $9 million annual average salary. The Bulls could have still about $3.5 million of that mid-level exception to use. But what this does mean is that the Chicago Bulls have added another center to this roster to replace Andre Drummond. Jaylen Smith could end up being the starting center depending on what the Bulls do with Nikola Vucevic. What Jaylen Smith does bring to the Chicago Bulls team is youth. He fits the Bulls continually going younger. Only 24 years old is Jaylen Smith. He'll be 25 in March, the majority of next season. He'll be 24 years old. You look at his averages last year, 9 points per game and only 17 minutes per game. He did that with 5 rebounds, 1 assist, right under a block, right under a steal per game. Jaylen Smith does definitely replicate a lot of what Andre Drummond was able to do in minuscule minutes. The most minutes that Jaylen Smith has ever averaged in his career was 2021-22, with his time with the Indiana Pacers averaging 24 minutes per game in that time. And while he averaged those 24 minutes per game, he averaged 13 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 1 block per game. Jaylen Smith is the type of player that produces when you give him minutes. Playing 61 games last season, there are some health concerns there, but this is a player with upside that fits the route of the younger path the Chicago Bulls are going. He also is a much more mobile center that can get out and run with Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, things like that. I love this acquisition by the Chicago Bulls, and it may now bring a change of direction with Nikola Vucevic. Now that you have your new center locked in, could very well mean that Nikola Vucevic may be on the road. I love the Bulls, regardless if Vuce stays or goes. I love Jalen Smith now being on this team. I love it. So, hey, Jalen Smith coming here. This is an extremely good move by the Chicago Bulls. They strike early on day 2 of free agency, getting their new center in Jalen Smith. Now, the question is he going to be the starting center? Are they looking for deals for Nikola Vucevic, or is this just a backup center role? 6'9", 215 pounds, over 7-foot wingspan. He fits the mold of a more young, athletic future. So I love this move by the Chicago Bulls. I'm not ready to say he's the center of the future or anything. He may be the center of right now for the Chicago Bulls if they can see how he develops. Like I said, a key part in all of this for me is the production that he did give when he had over 20 minutes per game. That was really good production. So if he can continue that, that goes a long way in getting him. Steve-O in the building. How you feeling about this signing, Steve-O? What are these name tags here? Go ahead.
Bro, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. 1 second.
Okay. Well, Steve-O's still working out his equipment over there. Love this acquisition by the Chicago Bulls,
right.
man. I feel like this is a really good pickup. You hear me now, Steve-O?
Yeah, I got you.
How you feeling about this move, brother?
I mean, we all knew like we wasn't gonna be able to go for the highly talented centers that's available because they're gonna cost some money. So for the money we spent and who we got it for, it's a solid move. Out of all the centers we can look at, we had the most tape on him. We played him a lot, and a lot of those games he played against us, especially against a Vooch, he had his way. He definitely had his way. So I like his athleticism. He's a very smart player that you don't really notice until you like he's playing on your team. So I think a lot of the times when he start playing for us, you're gonna see the IQ come out as well. So he's a very smart defender. His production has been solid the last few years. A solid center all the way around. I like the move. It's a pretty solid move compared to the last 2 off seasons. This is probably one of my favorite moves that they made. So I really like him. He's 24 years old. Solid
I was
pick.
just about to say that. That's the part that I like the most about this is that much like they did with Josh Giddey, right? You got Josh Giddey as a player that you've seen what he can already do with the NBA. He can still progress. Jalen Smith's been in the NBA for 4 years now. He's only 24 years old, doesn't turn 25 until well over halfway through the season,
Yep.
and still has room where he can progress. And Steve-O, I was talking about this a little bit before you came in, and I think this is a key thing here of pointing towards the upside. While Jalen Smith for his career only averages 8 points per game on 51% shooting, also 33% shooting from three for his career. Last season, he shot 42%. Season before that, 28%. But the one time that Jalen Smith got over 20 minutes per game in his career was after he got traded to the Indiana Pacers in 2021-22. 24 minutes, 13 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 1 block per game, 37% shooting from three, and 53% from the field. How promising do you look at those numbers for Jalen Smith as he may, if we move on from Vooch? But even with that said, if you're playing more minutes, how do you look at that production?
It looks pretty good because if you really pay attention to, like you said, the last few teams he was with, when he got drafted by his Suns, he had 8 in front of him. So he didn't really have a full extension to really show what he got. And then when he got traded to Indiana, he had Miles Turner in front of him. So like the whole thing is like the stats kind of show it itself. Like he's just kind of getting held back because he's been in front of better centers. And he hasn't really have a lot of time to like just play a full 25 to 30-minute game to go through his just go through the motions, go through his things, learn his mistakes and everything. But the fact that he was able to come off the bench and his instant production, because we always talk about like everybody just can't come off the bench and it takes them a minute to get acclimated into the game. That's never been a problem with him, even back when he played at Maryland. He came in the game, he did his job. That's the most important thing I say about him is he understands his role no matter where he's at. So he's going to come in, and if he's the starting center or whatever it is, he's going to be ready for it. And I think because with this team being younger and it look like where the direction he's going to be going, he's going to have a lot more time to show us what he got, to be honest.
Yeah. As a replacement for Drum, how you feel if he is just the backup center? How you feeling about him as a replacement for Drum?
I mean, for one, if he is the backup, we kind of gotta like program my mind to not think of Drummond because I think that's what's gonna a lot of be like, oh, he not getting the same. He's not the rebounder Drummond is, but what Drummond lacked, and like I would say, IQ is what he gonna pick it up in. There's not gonna be a time where he puts the ball on the floor and we gritting our teeth like he makes solid moves around the basket. He makes solid post moves. He makes solid decisions, good decisions, I might add. And I think that's the difference between something like Drummond and him. So where he might lack on the rebounding side, he's gonna be active and he's gonna be smart. So if he is the backup, it's cool because even if we decide to keep Vooch, that's something to learn behind of. That's still something he can learn from. Somebody he can learn from. So goofy folks, I like we got goofy folks. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, like the thing I look at is that if he's not the center of the future, which I'm not going to say he is, because honestly, I hope that when the Bulls do find their center of the future, it's somebody better than Jaylen Smith, and that's not a knock on him. That's just something I would want. But outside of that, like he could be the center of right now, and as a center of right now, you could do a lot worse than Jaylen Smith. That's just what it comes.
Especially for $27 million, like you could do a whole lot worse.
$9 million per season for the type of production Jalen Smith gets you. I know a lot of Bulls fans are going to say, well, why didn't we just pay Andre Drummond this money? And the reason I'm going to give you to this is, one, Andre Drummond probably wanted to join the contender. Keep in mind, he almost opted out last year, but decided to stay because of how the Chicago Bulls handled his situation. Got to give love there. But then on top of this, Jalen Smith offers the upside of somebody who can stretch the floor. Drum did not. Jalen Smith can hit an open three. I don't want him going out there taking a bunch of three-point shots. But if you use his three-point shooting as a compliment to what he can already do running the floor and things like that, you got a pretty damn good guy here in Jalen Smith.
You really do. And like you said, a lot of things with the Drummond, like you said, I wanted to hit on that. Like people gonna be like, why we didn't pay Drummond that? It's like 3 things: age, situation, and I think with the Sixers paying attention how much how much Joel Embiid was getting hurt, because this is not his first time being a backup to Joel Embiid. And they did a nice job when he was the backup. So I think that was a lot of the Sixers like, bro, we need you. Come back, please. And they did whatever they had to do to go get him. And it just made way more sense for them to go get Drummond. Drummond is at an age where he's ready to win a championship. And Jaylen, we paid him this money because the upside. He's 24 years old. He's not gonna be 25 until a while before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? Like you said, we not necessarily saying he's the center for the future. He could just be the center for now. And right now, I mean 1 to 2 years, 1 to 3 years. We still trying to figure out what's going to be this roster to become that contender. Right now, we just rebuilding.
Yeah. Shout out to Goofy folks, bro. Really good pickup here, man. Really good pickup.
Yeah, really good pickup.
Yeah, this is a very solid pickup. And like I said, this is a pickup that's good regardless. Regardless, this is a solid pickup. Adding Jalen Smith to your team, regardless of the direction, is a smart move by the Chicago Bulls. And it's a really value contract as well. We don't have the exact details of this, like any options or anything on it, at least not yet per what I'm seeing. But regardless, even if this is a straight up 3-year deal guaranteed, I'm not mad at it. But knowing how AK likes to structure his deals, I would not be surprised if maybe that last year is either a player or a team option. He always likes to give that last year being an option. It goes back and forth whether it's a player or team option. I don't know what thought process goes into it, but we'll see what happens with that one.
He's a clutch sport athlete, so he got an option.
Oh, he clutch. Yeah, it's a player option.
Like,
if it's clutch sports, then it's a player option. Yeah, for sure. They definitely got him the option on that one.
Yeah, so I knew that. Once I seen clutch sport, I was like, yeah, he got an option.
Yep. It says that he reached the deal overnight too. Shout out to the Bulls being active on day one of free agency, even though it just got announced. Shout out to them motherfuckers, bro.
For real. Because that's just to show you that they really taking their time and they really do being due diligence with their pickings. Because like I said, this ain't a Leroy pick for me. This not a Torrey Craig signing. Like, this is actually a legitimate signing. Like, this is not somebody that it's a lot more highs than lows when I watch this dude. So especially when he went up against us. So I think this is a very, very solid pick, if I do say so myself.
Definitely. Any last thoughts on this? Do you think we're gonna get more action from the Chicago Bulls today? What you think, Steve-O?
I'm like 60-40 on it. I think it is. Like, as we know, we super aggressive of trying to give Vooch and Zach possibly a team to go to, but that's why I say I'm 60-40. I'm kind of like, I don't know. But I still think like it's a decent chance that we could find a deal for either two. But I hope so. But I think we might. If not, we get at least one signing today. One more.
The benefit of the Bulls, and this does point to as well, and this is something that we do need to talk about before we go. Keep in mind, the Bulls don't have any space to sign even a $9 million contract if they were keeping DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. This is another sign that goes to one of those guys are gone, if not both of them. So this is another sign that points to that. It continues the youth movement that we've seen for the Chicago Bulls. This is all good. Seeing people say fire this GM, Bulls Daily says you don't know who he is. Like, do y'all only watch Bulls games? Like, I mean, nothing's wrong with that, but like, yeah, come on, man.
Like all I want to, if y'all don't want to know, just go look at what he did. Oh shit, what just happened?
Something happened? We got more news?
Ooh, that's nice. Isaiah Hartenstein went to Oklahoma.
Somebody said that yesterday when we were on the live stream. That actually makes a lot of sense.
3 year, $87 million.
3 years, 80. That makes a lot of sense for them. That's a really good.
Damn, they doing their damn.
It's a really good deal for them. Really good deal for them. But yeah, hey, this kind of tells me that the Bulls may know that something's coming with DeMar soon. So we'll see.
Sooner rather than later. I seen a little article. I don't know how true it was this morning about DeMar. Like somebody said, like maybe maybe Magic was interested, and I was like, I don't know about that. But yeah, somebody gone. Somebody they trying to get somebody the hell up out of here. So it is what it is.
B Sam says, bro, Jaylen Smith has huge potential. What's his playoff numbers? Terrible.
Oh, that was terrible.
If you want to know his playoff numbers, so in 2023-24, he played 7 games, only 6 minutes though, but he averaged 1.9 points per game on 37% shooting. But he only played 6 minutes over those 7 games. Well, averaged 7 minutes. So the playoff numbers aren't great.
I was just about to say, like, I don't.
They didn't really play him, so I'm not gonna hold that against him. Yeah, they didn't play him a bunch, so I'm not gonna hold that against him. So, but yeah, stretch big come in here. Really good. And don't overlook the fact that this is also somebody that can play next to Vooch if needed in some lineups as well. So that's something to also look into that if they're keeping Vooch. I'm not saying they are, but you added a versatile young player that can play power forward, can play center, can stretch the floor, rebounds at a solid rate, even though the numbers aren't great. Keep in mind, he's only the most minutes he's averaged here recently is like 17 minutes. So really good upside pick here. Could be versatile in your lineups, and that's what you want to see from what the Bulls are doing. Much like what the Bears did in getting all offensive linemen that could play at least two positions. The Bulls getting some young, versatile players in here, and that's what Jaylen Smith is, man.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people talking about like he's 16. I'm like, bro, everybody ain't finna. We looking for versatility, not just somebody that could just play center alone. Like
that's facts.
The league is changing. There's too many people that, especially when you have a lot of these centers, and that was the problem with Vooch. When you have a lot of these centers that can bring you out to the 3-point line, that will kill us, especially when Vooch was our only real center, and that brings him out the hole. Now our defense is cooked.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But yeah, hey, let's so everybody's asking the starting line. I'm not getting into the starting lineup until we find out what's going on with DeMar Zach. It's pointless to try to give starting lineups right now until we know exactly what's happening there. So but yeah, man, that's the news for right now. I'm sure we'll be back at some point today. Yeah, because it's not done. Even if we're just back announcing DeMar DeRozan deal and where he's going, something's coming down the pipelines, man. So keep in tune with that. Any last thoughts, Steve, before we get up out of here?
Nope.
All right. Well, man, love you guys, man. Go Bulls, see red, y'all. Y'all will be seeing our faces again today. It's already the second video. It's only 10 a.m. So see you guys later on today, y'all.